Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, your trusted place for rare coin discoveries and hidden values. Before you spend another penny, check this date. You could be holding thousands of dollars. Most people ignore pennies, but some of these wheat pennies from 1935 to 1957 are worth way more than 1 cent. In today's video, I'll show you exactly which ones to look for and how to spot a valuable coin in seconds. This is the story, the mystery, and the true value behind the 1935 wheat penny, a coin that proves even the most common pieces can carry extraordinary stories and, sometimes, unexpected worth. 1935 wheat penny coin. The 1935 wheat penny stands as a remarkable artifact from one of the most challenging periods in American history, the mid-era of the Great Depression. At a time when economic hardship defined daily life, millions of these coins were struck and circulated, becoming a quiet witness to an entire generation's struggles and resilience. While it may not be the rarest coin in the Lincoln Cent series, its historical depth and collectible appeal make it a fascinating piece for both beginners and seasoned numismatists. The design of the 1935 wheat penny traces back to 1909, when the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln Cent to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin broke tradition by featuring a real historical figure rather than symbolic imagery. On the obverse, we see the iconic right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, with the inscription, "In God We Trust," arching above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date 1935 stamped to the right. This design would become one of the longest-running and most recognizable in U.S. coinage history. Flip the coin over, and you are greeted by the classic wheat reverse, which gives this coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny. Two elegant wheat stalks frame the central inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America, with E pluribus unum curving above. This agricultural symbolism reflected the nation's agrarian roots and stability during uncertain times. Now, when we talk about mintage, the 1935 wheat penny is far from rare in terms of sheer numbers. The Philadelphia Mint alone produced approximately 245 million coins that year, making it a widely circulated issue. Additional coins were minted in Denver and San Francisco, each marked with a small D or S below the date. While these mint marks may seem like minor details, they play a major role in determining the coin's value and desirability among collectors. Despite its high mintage, condition is everything. A heavily worn 1935 wheat penny might only be worth a few cents above face value, often around 25 to 35 cents in typical circulated condition. But as we move into higher grades, especially uncirculated coins with strong luster and minimal wear, the value increases significantly. Mint state examples can reach into the tens of dollars, and in rare cases of exceptional preservation, even thousands. One of the most important factors influencing value is color. Copper coins like the 1935 wheat penny are graded not just by condition, but also by their color designation, brown, red-brown, or red. Red coins, which retain their original mint luster and bright copper appearance, are the most desirable and can command dramatically higher prices. A top-grade red example has been known to sell for several $1,000s, highlighting just how important preservation is in numismatics. But what truly excites collectors are the errors and varieties. The 1935 wheat penny is known to have several interesting mint errors, including double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets. These errors occur during the minting process and can transform an otherwise common coin into a highly sought-after collectible. Imagine finding a coin where the date appears doubled or the design is slightly misaligned. These imperfections are not flaws to collectors, but treasures. Another layer of intrigue comes from the coin's metal composition. The 1935 wheat penny is made of 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown tone. While its melt value is only a fraction of a dollar, the real worth lies in its historical and collectible significance. In today's market, the 1935 wheat penny occupies a unique position. It is affordable enough for new collectors to acquire, yet still offers enough variation and potential value to keep experienced collectors interested. This balance makes it a cornerstone coin in many Lincoln Cent collections. For beginners, it represents an accessible entry point into numismatics. For experts, it provides an opportunity to hunt for high-grade specimens or rare error varieties. Interestingly, collector sentiment around this coin varies widely. In online communities, some collectors dismiss it as common pocket change, often valuing circulated examples at just a few cents. Yet others have reported surprising sales when condition or buyer enthusiasm comes into play, demonstrating how subjective and dynamic the coin market can be. This brings us to one of the most important lessons in coin collecting. Value is not just about rarity, but also demand, condition, and story. The 1935 Wheat Penny may not be a key date, but its connection to history, its classic design, and the thrill of discovering a rare variety make it a compelling piece. As we look deeper, the coin also reflects broader trends in U.S. minting. By the mid-1930s, production levels were increasing after the early Depression years, signaling a gradual economic recovery. The large mintage numbers of the 1935 penny hint at a nation beginning to regain momentum, making this coin not just a collectible, but a symbol of resilience. Collectors today often seek complete sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, which were minted from 1909 to 1958. Within this series, the 1935 issue serves as a mid-era representative, bridging the early low mintage years and the later mass production period of the 1940s and 1950s. Its role in the series adds to its appeal, especially for those aiming to build a complete date and mint mark collection. And then there's the emotional connection. Holding a 1935 Wheat Penny is like holding a piece of everyday history. This coin may have been used to buy bread, pay for a newspaper, or exchanged in a small-town store nearly 90 years ago. Each scratch, each mark, tells a story of its journey through time. In terms of investment potential, the 1935 Wheat Penny is not typically considered a high-value coin unless it is in exceptional condition or features a notable error. However, its steady demand and historical significance provide a level of stability in the collector market. For those who enjoy the hunt, searching rolls of pennies or old collections for a high-grade 1935 example can be both exciting and rewarding. So what should you look for if you have one of these coins? Start with the mint mark. Check the condition carefully, paying attention to details like Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Look for any unusual features that might indicate an error. And most importantly, consider the color and overall eye appeal. Because sometimes, the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth hundreds, or even thousands, comes down to the smallest details. The 1935 Wheat Penny reminds us that numismatics is not just about money. It's about history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. It's about seeing value where others might see nothing more than loose change. And that's what makes coin collecting so powerful. Because every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth far more than its face value. 1936 Wheat Penny Coin. The 1936 Wheat Penny is more than just a small copper coin. It is a direct connection to a world recovering from the depths of the Great Depression, a time when the United States was rebuilding its economy and restoring confidence among its people. Every coin minted in 1936 passed through hands that were living through one of the most defining decades in modern history. This gives the 1936 Wheat Penny a powerful historical presence that extends far beyond its face value. By 1936, Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal policies were actively reshaping the American economy. Industrial production was rising, unemployment was gradually declining, and the country was beginning to regain its footing. The large production of pennies during this year reflects that slow but steady recovery. These coins were essential for everyday transactions, and their heavy circulation tells the story of a nation in motion once again. The design of the 1936 Wheat Penny remains one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. Created by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the distinguished profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the inscription, "In God We Trust," a phrase that adds a sense of solemnity and national identity. To the left, the word liberty appears, while the date 1936 is positioned to the right. The simplicity of the design is part of its enduring charm, allowing Lincoln's portrait to take center stage. On the reverse, the coin displays two wheat stalks curving along the edges, framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these words is the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. This design, often referred to as the wheat reverse, symbolizes agricultural strength and unity, themes that were particularly meaningful during the 1930s. When it comes to mintage, the 1936 wheat penny was produced in significant quantities across three major mints. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 309 million coins, making it the most common version of the year. The Denver Mint produced approximately 40 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint contributed around 29 million. While these numbers may suggest abundance, the story becomes more interesting when we consider condition and rarity within higher grades. In circulated condition, most 1936 wheat pennies are relatively affordable. These coins often show signs of wear, including smoothing of Lincoln's hair and flattening of the wheat stalks on the reverse. In such cases, their value may range from a few cents to a couple of dollars, depending on their overall appearance. However, as we move into uncirculated territory, the value begins to climb significantly. Uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster and minimal marks, are far more desirable. Coins graded in higher mint state levels can fetch impressive prices, particularly if they retain their original red color. Copper coins naturally darken over time, so those that maintain their bright reddish tone are considered premium pieces. A high-grade 1936 wheat penny with full red coloration can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the right market. Color classification plays a critical role in determining value. Brown coins, which have fully toned over time, are typically the least valuable. Red-brown coins offer a mix of original color and toning, placing them in a mid-range category. Red coins, however, are the most sought after, as they preserve the coin's original mint appearance. This distinction can mean the difference between a modest collectible and a highly valuable asset. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1936 wheat penny lies in its era varieties. Among the most famous is the 1936 double die obverse. This error occurs when the coin's design is struck twice slightly out of alignment, resulting in noticeable doubling on elements such as the date and inscriptions. Collectors actively seek out these varieties, and their rarity can significantly increase their value. Other potential errors include off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned with the coin's edge, and die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the surface. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a cutting error, also add uniqueness and desirability. Each of these errors tells a story about the minting process and transforms an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. The composition of the 1936 wheat penny is another important detail. Like most pennies of its era, it is made of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This composition gives the coin its characteristic color and weight, as well as its susceptibility to environmental changes. Over time, exposure to air and moisture can cause oxidation, altering the coin's appearance and affecting its value. Collector interest in the 1936 wheat penny remains strong, particularly among those building complete Lincoln cent collections. While it is not considered a key date, its role within the series makes it an essential piece. Collectors often seek high-grade examples or coins with unique features to enhance their sets. The market for 1936 wheat pennies is influenced by several factors, including demand, condition, and overall eye appeal. Coins with sharp details, minimal contact marks, and attractive toning tend to perform better in auctions and private sales. Additionally, coins that have been professionally graded and authenticated by reputable services often command higher prices due to the assurance of quality. Interestingly, the 1936 issue also reflects broader trends in coin collecting. During the mid-20th century, interest in Lincoln cents began to grow, leading to increased demand for earlier dates. This trend continues today, with collectors appreciating both the historical significance and aesthetic appeal of these coins. For those new to coin collecting, the 1936 wheat penny offers an excellent starting point. Its availability makes it accessible, while its variations provide opportunities for discovery and learning. Searching through rolls of pennies or old collections can yield surprising finds, especially for those who know what to look for. Experienced collectors, on the other hand, may focus on acquiring top-grade examples or rare era varieties. The challenge of finding a near-perfect coin from 1936 adds an element of excitement and achievement. Each acquisition represents not just a financial investment, but a piece of history preserved for future generations. The emotional connection to the 1936 Wheat Penny cannot be overlooked. Holding this coin is like stepping back in time, imagining the lives of those who once used it in their daily transactions. It may have been part of a child's allowance, a worker's wages, or a simple purchase at a neighborhood store. These stories, though unseen, are embedded within the coin's surface. As we examine the details more closely, we begin to appreciate the craftsmanship involved in its creation. The precision of the design, the balance of the inscriptions, and the elegance of the wheat stalks all contribute to its lasting appeal. Even after decades of circulation, many 1936 wheat pennies still retain a sense of dignity and character. In terms of investment potential, the 1936 wheat penny offers a mix of stability and opportunity. While common examples may not yield significant returns, high-grade coins and rare varieties can appreciate over time. The key lies in careful selection and proper preservation, ensuring that the coin's condition remains intact. Storage and handling are crucial for maintaining value. Collectors often use protective holders or albums to prevent damage and exposure to environmental factors. Avoiding direct contact with the coin's surface helps preserve its original luster and prevents unwanted marks. As the numismatic market continues to evolve, the 1936 wheat penny remains a reliable and intriguing option for collectors. Its combination of history, design, and potential value makes it a standout piece within the Lincoln Cent series. Whether you are just beginning your journey or expanding an existing collection, this coin offers something truly special. And perhaps the most exciting part is the possibility that one of these coins could already be in your possession, hidden in a jar, tucked away in an old drawer, or passed down through generations. The 1936 wheat penny may be waiting to reveal its secrets. Because in the world of coin collecting, every detail matters. Every mark, every variation, every trace of history adds to the story. And sometimes, the smallest coin can hold the greatest surprises. The 1936 wheat penny is not just a piece of currency. It is a window into the past, a testament to resilience, and a reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places. The 1937 wheat penny is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, minted during a period when the United States was steadily climbing out of the Great Depression. By this time, the economy was showing signs of recovery, industries were stabilizing, and everyday commerce was gaining momentum again. Coins like the 1937 wheat penny were at the center of this renewed activity, circulating heavily and playing a role in daily transactions across the nation. This coin carries with it the legacy of resilience. Every 1937 penny that exists today has witnessed a time when every cent mattered. It may have been used to buy a loaf of bread, pay for public transportation, or exchanged in small-town markets. These humble beginnings give the coin a powerful connection to real human stories, making it far more than just a piece of metal. The design of the 1937 wheat penny continues the iconic style introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile is presented in a calm and dignified manner, facing to the right. Above his head is the inscription, "In God We Trust," while Liberty appears to the left and the date 1937 is positioned to the right. The simplicity of this design allows Lincoln's image to stand out, symbolizing leadership and unity during challenging times. The reverse of the coin features the classic wheat ears design, which gives the wheat penny its name. Two wheat stalks curve along the edges, framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these words is E pluribus unum, reinforcing the idea of unity. This agricultural imagery reflects the importance of farming and stability, especially during a decade when the nation was rebuilding itself. When discussing mintage, the 1937 wheat penny was produced in large numbers across 3 mints. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 309 million coins, making it the most common variety. The Denver Mint produced approximately 50 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint contributed around 34 million. Although these numbers suggest that the coin is widely available, the true rarity lies in its condition and specific varieties. In circulated condition, the 1937 wheat penny is relatively easy to find. Many examples show signs of wear, such as flattened details on Lincoln's hair and less defined wheat stalks on the reverse. These coins are typically valued at a modest level, often just a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on their appearance. However, as condition improves, so does value. Uncirculated coins, especially those with strong luster and minimal imperfections, are much more desirable. A high-grade 1937 wheat penny can command significantly higher prices, particularly if it retains its original red color. Copper coins naturally darken over time, so those that maintain their bright, mint-state appearance are considered premium collectibles. Color plays a crucial role in determining value. Brown coins, which have fully toned over time, are generally the least valuable. Red-brown coins offer a mix of original color and toning, placing them in a mid-range category. Red coins, which preserve their original copper brilliance, are the most sought after and can achieve impressive prices in the market. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1937 wheat penny is the presence of error coins and varieties. Among these, the most notable are double die errors, where elements of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors can be subtle or dramatic, and their rarity makes them highly attractive to collectors. Other errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's design is not properly aligned, resulting in a portion of the design being missing. Clipped planchets, where part of the coin is cut off due to a manufacturing issue, also add uniqueness. Die cracks and die breaks, which appear as raised lines or irregularities on the surface, further contribute to the variety of collectible pieces within the 1937 series. The composition of the 1937 wheat penny is another important detail. Like other pennies of its era, it is made of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This composition gives the coin its distinctive color and weight, as well as its vulnerability to environmental factors. Over time, exposure to air and moisture can cause oxidation, altering the coin's appearance. Collector interest in the 1937 wheat penny remains strong, particularly among those building complete Lincoln cent collections. While it is not considered a key date, its historical significance and potential for high-grade examples make it an essential addition. Collectors often seek coins with sharp details, attractive toning, and minimal marks to enhance their sets. The market value of the 1937 wheat penny varies widely, depending on condition and rarity. Circulated coins may only be worth a small premium over face value, but uncirculated examples can reach into the tens or hundreds of dollars. Exceptional specimens, especially those graded at the highest levels and classified as full red, have been known to achieve even higher prices at auction. Professional grading plays a significant role in determining value. Coins that have been authenticated and graded by reputable services are often more desirable, as they provide assurance of quality and authenticity. This is particularly important for higher-value coins, where even small differences in grade can have a significant impact on price. The 1937 wheat penny also offers an exciting opportunity for collectors who enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Searching through rolls of pennies, old collections, or estate sales can yield surprising discoveries. Finding a high-grade example or a rare error coin adds an element of excitement and achievement to the collecting experience. Beyond its monetary value, the 1937 wheat penny holds a deeper significance. It represents a time of recovery and resilience, a period when the nation was rebuilding and moving forward. Each coin carries with it the stories of those who used it, the transactions it facilitated, and the journey it has taken through history. The craftsmanship of the coin is also worth appreciating. Despite being produced in large quantities, the attention to detail in its design is evident. The texture of Lincoln's hair, the clarity of the inscriptions, and the symmetry of the wheat stalks all contribute to its enduring appeal. Even after decades of circulation, many examples still retain a sense of elegance and character. For investors, the 1937 wheat penny offers a mix of stability and potential. While it may not be the most valuable coin in the series, its consistent demand and historical importance provide a solid foundation. High-grade coins and rare varieties, in particular, have the potential to appreciate over time. Proper storage and handling are essential for preserving value. Collectors often use protective holders or albums to prevent damage and exposure to environmental factors. Avoiding direct contact with the coin's surface helps maintain its original luster and prevents unwanted marks. As the numismatic market continues to evolve, the 1937 Wheat Penny remains a popular and accessible choice. Its combination of history, design, and potential value makes it appealing to collectors of all levels. Whether you are just starting your journey or expanding an established collection, this coin offers something unique. And perhaps the most exciting part is the possibility that one of these coins could already be in your possession. Hidden in a jar, tucked away in an old drawer, or passed down through generations, the 1937 Wheat Penny may be waiting to reveal its true worth. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can make the biggest difference. A slight variation, a preserved luster, or an unexpected error can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collectible. The 1937 Wheat Penny is more than just a piece of currency. It is a symbol of history, a work of art, and a reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places. 1944 Wheat Penny stands at the crossroads of American history, metal science, and numismatic obsession. Born in the shadow of World War II, this coin represents a nation transitioning from total war toward victory, while still rationing, conserving, and repurposing every ounce of material it could spare. Copper was critical for ammunition and wiring, and just 1 year earlier the United States Mint had struck pennies in zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort. That decision alone created chaos, confusion, and opportunity, and in 1944 the return to copper-based cents did not go as smoothly as planned. At first glance, the standard 1944 Wheat Penny looks familiar, even humble. Abraham Lincoln's right-facing bust dominates the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, with strong wartime-era strikes often showing sharp cheek contours, defined jawlines, and crisp lettering. The date 1944 sits firmly beneath Lincoln's portrait, and above him, the familiar liberty and "I in God we trust" reflect a nation clinging tightly to ideals during global uncertainty. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears curve inward, framing 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum stretching across the top. This design, used from 1909 through 1958, had already become a symbol of American resilience by the time the 1944 issue rolled off the presses. But what elevates the 1944 Wheat Penny from common circulation coin to numismatic royalty is not the design alone. It is the metal. Officially, the Mint resumed striking cents in a copper alloy made from recycled shell casings, roughly 95% copper with zinc and tin blended in. Hundreds of millions were produced across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with total mintage soaring past 1 billion coins. On paper, that should make the 1944 Wheat Penny ordinary. In reality, it is anything but. During the transition from steel cents in 1943 back to copper in 1944, a small number of steel planchets were accidentally left in the coin presses. These blanks, intended for the previous year, were struck with 1944 dies, creating one of the most legendary errors in all of American coinage. The 1944 steel Wheat Penny is not just rare, it is iconic. Fewer than 30 authentic examples are believed to exist across all mints, and each one represents a mistake that escaped detection in a tightly controlled wartime minting environment. A genuine 1944 steel cent instantly defies expectations. It appears silver gray instead of brown or red, clings to a magnet, and weighs significantly less than its copper counterparts. Many fakes exist, often created by plating copper cents or altering dates on 1943 steel cents, but authenticated examples have sold for staggering sums. In circulated condition, a real 1944 steel penny can command well over $100,000. In higher grades with original surfaces intact, prices have exceeded $400,000, with elite specimens pushing even higher when auction competition ignites. Even the standard copper 1944 Wheat Pennies carry significant collector interest depending on condition, mint mark, and color designation. Philadelphia issues without a mint mark are the most common, but Denver and San Francisco coins are scarcer and often command premiums in high grade. A 1944 Wheat penny with blazing original red luster and minimal contact marks can fetch thousands of dollars, especially when certified in top mint state grades. The same holds true for San Francisco strikes, which are notoriously difficult to find fully struck with rich color. Errors beyond the steel cent also drive demand. Doubled dies, though subtle, exist on some 1944 cents, showing slight doubling in lettering or date elements. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and lamination errors caused by impurities in recycled war metal add another layer of intrigue. Each error tells a story of speed, pressure, and imperfect materials during a time when the mint was focused more on output than perfection. Collector interest in the 1944 Wheat penny is fueled by its role as a bridge between two radically different years. It follows the steel cent experiment and precedes the post-war boom. It represents adaptation, improvisation, and recovery. For beginners, it offers an accessible entry into wheat cent collecting. For advanced numismatists, it presents one of the most dramatic error varieties ever produced by the United States Mint. And for dreamers, it holds the tantalizing possibility that a dull gray penny stuck to a magnet could change everything. The market for 1944 wheat pennies remains strong and stable, with demand driven by both historical significance and the ever-present allure of rare errors. As long as collectors chase wartime anomalies and transitional coins, the 1944 wheat penny will remain a cornerstone of American numismatics, proving that even in the most controlled systems, history sometimes slips through the cracks. 1946 wheat penny 1-cent coin. The 1946 wheat penny arrives in a completely different emotional landscape. The war is over. Soldiers are returning home. Factories are retooling for peace. And the United States Mint, no longer under the crushing pressure of wartime production, settles into a new rhythm. At first glance, the 1946 wheat penny may seem less dramatic than its wartime predecessors, but beneath its calm exterior lies a coin rich in symbolism, subtle rarity, and quiet desirability. Struck just months after the end of World War II, the 1946 wheat penny represents the first full post-war cent production year. It carries with it a sense of relief and optimism, reflected in generally strong strikes and improved quality control. The obverse still features Lincoln's portrait, now rendered with slightly softer contours as dies were differently in peacetime conditions. Liberty and Iron God We Trust remain crisp, and the date 1946 stands as a marker of transition from conflict to recovery. On the reverse, the wheat ears continue their long run, soon to be retired just over a decade later. By 1946, the design was deeply ingrained in American culture, appearing in every cash register, school lunch, and pocket across the country. Yet despite massive production numbers, certain 1946 wheat pennies stand out as elusive, especially when condition, mint mark, and strike quality are considered together. The Philadelphia Mint again produced the largest share, with no mint mark present. These coins are abundant in circulated grades, but sharply struck examples with full original red color are far more challenging. Copper quality improved slightly after the war, but planchet inconsistencies still occurred, leading to spotting, toning issues, and surface streaks that limit the number of pristine survivors. The Denver Mint issued a more modest quantity, and the 1946 wheat penny is noticeably tougher to locate in high mint state grades. Many were weakly struck, particularly in Lincoln's hair and the wheat ear tips, making fully detailed examples especially desirable. Certified coins grading in the upper mint state range routinely command strong premiums, reflecting both scarcity and competition among registry set collectors. San Francisco strikes from 1946 are perhaps the most overlooked gems of the series. The 1946 wheat penny had a lower mintage than its Philadelphia counterpart, and many examples suffer from flat strikes or dull surfaces. Finding one with sharp definition and vibrant color is a genuine challenge. As a result, high-grade 1946 cents often outperform expectations at auction, surprising collectors who underestimate post-war issues. Errors play a quieter but still compelling role in the 1946 wheat penny story. Repunched mint marks are among the most sought-after varieties, particularly on Denver and San Francisco coins. These errors occurred when mint marks were punched into dies by hand, sometimes leaving remnants of an earlier punch visible beneath or beside the final mark. Such varieties add depth and individuality to a date often dismissed as common. Double dies are scarcer than in earlier decades, but minor doubling in lettering or date elements has been documented. Off-metal strikes, including rare instances of cents struck on foreign or wrong planchets, occasionally surface and command significant premiums due to their post-war context. Lamination errors and clips also appear, reflecting ongoing adjustments in metal sourcing and rolling processes after years of wartime strain. Market value for the 1946 wheat penny spans a wide range. Circulated examples remain affordable and popular among beginners. Uncirculated pieces with original red surfaces can climb into the hundreds of dollars, and top population coins certified at the highest levels can reach into the thousands. Error coins and premium varieties elevate the ceiling even further, especially when appeal and provenance align. Collector interest in the 1946 wheat penny is rooted in its symbolism. It is the first true peacetime cent after global conflict. It marks a return to normalcy while still bearing the marks of recent hardship. For many collectors, assembling a complete post-war wheat cent set begins here. For others, the challenge lies in finding the finest known examples of a date often overlooked. In the broader narrative of American coinage, the 1946 wheat penny may not shout, but it speaks with confidence. It tells the story of a nation resetting itself, of mints refining their craft, and of copper once again flowing freely into everyday life. In collections both modest and elite, it stands as proof that value is not always about shock and spectacle, but about context, condition, and quiet significance. Together, the 1944 and 1946 wheat pennies define two sides of a historic coinage era. One born from chaos and mistake-driven rarity, the other shaped by recovery and understated challenge. In the world of numismatics, both remind us that even the smallest coins can carry the heaviest stories. 1947 wheat penny 1-cent coin. The 1947 wheat penny is a small coin with a massive story. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, it carries no mint mark, a detail that collectors immediately recognize as the hallmark of a Philadelphia strike. This penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Series, which began in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The series was designed by Victor David Brenner and represents one of the most enduring and beloved American coin designs. The obverse features Lincoln's right-facing portrait, his expression solemn and reflective, a reminder of his leadership during one of the nation's most turbulent eras. Above him, the motto "I in God we trust" is boldly inscribed, with liberty to his left and the date 1947 anchored on the right. This design remained largely unchanged throughout the wheat penny era, giving each coin a consistent and immediately recognizable appearance. The reverse is equally iconic, featuring two stalks of wheat framing the words 1 cent, with United States of America arching above and E pluribus unum nestled between. These wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and the agrarian foundation of the United States, grounding this coin not just in currency, but in cultural identity. By 1947, the United States was emerging from the economic and material constraints of World War II. The Lincoln wheat penny had survived wartime coin shortages, and while it no longer contained the steel composition of the famous 1943 steel cent, it still carried the weight and visual appeal of the traditional bronze alloy. 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams with a 19.05 millimeter diameter and a smooth, reeded edge. The mintage of the 1947 Philadelphia wheat penny was substantial, totaling approximately 1,600,000,000 coins. On paper, this might suggest a coin that is commonplace and unremarkable. However, the story of value and rarity begins with condition and era varieties. Most 1947 wheat pennies found today are circulated, showing the expected wear, flattened high points on Lincoln's cheek and jaw, softened lettering, and dull, faded luster. These coins are typically worth face value, perhaps a few cents to casual collectors. But in mint state condition, especially MS-65 and above, the landscape changes dramatically. MS-65 examples, preserved in the original brilliant red luster, may sell for $10 to $30. Once you reach MS66, prices jump to $50 or more. And at the top of the scale, MS67 and MS68 examples are incredibly rare. Certified MS67 1947 Philadelphia wheat pennies have been known to sell for several $100s, while exceptional MS68 coins can reach well over $1,000 due to extreme scarcity and collector demand. Errors and varieties elevate the 1947 wheat pennies appeal even further. One of the most exciting categories is double die obverse coins. In these examples, doubling may be visible in I in God We Trust, Liberty, or the date itself. Strong double dies can command prices ranging from $75 to $250 depending on the clarity and quality of the strike. Off-center strikes are another highly collectible error. A 1947 wheat penny struck even 10% off-center while retaining a full date can sell for $100 to $300, with larger off-center coins commanding even higher premiums. Clipped planchets, broad strikes, and weakly struck coins, where portions of Lincoln's face or the wheat stalks appear distorted or incomplete, also attract collector attention. One of the most fascinating aspects of 1947 wheat pennies is the attention to detail required for high-end collectors. The luster, color, and surface preservation all matter. Coins with original red coloration, without toning or corrosion, are far more valuable than brown or faded specimens. Even minor abrasions can significantly reduce market value. Collector interest remains high because the 1947 penny represents a bridge between the immediate post-war era and the more modern coinage that would follow. It combines historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and scarcity in top grades, the perfect combination for numismatic excitement. For those building complete Lincoln wheat penny sets or advanced date and mint collections, the 1947 Philadelphia penny is an essential inclusion. Its combination of historical context, design detail, and mint state rarity makes it not just a coin, but a prized collectible. 1957 D Wheat Penny 1-cent coin. Moving on to the 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, we encounter a coin struck at the Denver Mint, distinguished by the small D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse. Like the 1947 penny, it belongs to the Lincoln Wheat series, carrying forward Brenner's classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1957 D penny captures a different moment in American history. The nation was enjoying post-Korean War prosperity, the baby boom was in full swing, and the economy was expanding rapidly. Coin production had normalized after wartime disruptions, but the Denver Mint, like Philadelphia, continued to produce Lincoln cents in massive quantities to meet everyday commerce demands. Physically, the 1957 D penny shares the standard composition and dimensions of the series: 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. The bronze alloy gives it a warm reddish-brown hue when freshly minted. The obverse features Lincoln in the familiar right-facing portrait, "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, the date 1957 to the right, and the D mint mark anchoring the date. The reverse maintains the wheat stalk design, emphasizing the timeless symbolism of growth and prosperity. The mintage of the 1957 D penny was approximately 757 million coins, a massive production number, making circulated examples common in coin rolls and collections. Most 1957 D pennies you encounter today show typical wear, flattened high points, dulling of the luster, and minor surface scratches. These are usually worth only face value or slightly more to casual collectors. However, like the 1947 penny, condition transforms the 1957 D into a collectible powerhouse. High-grade mint state examples are considerably scarcer than the mintage suggests. MS65 coins can sell for $10 to $30, depending on eye appeal, while MS66 examples may reach $50 to $75. Certified MS67 coins are much rarer and can command $200 to $400 or more. Exceptional MS68 specimens are extremely rare and highly sought after by advanced collectors, often achieving over $1,000 at auction. Error coins elevate the 1957 D penny's market value. Doubled die obverse varieties exist, with doubling visible in In God We Trust, Liberty, or the date. Strong examples are valued between $75 and $250 depending on grade. Off-center strikes are popular among collectors, with coins struck 10% to 20% off-center selling for $100 to $300, and more dramatic misalignments commanding even higher premiums. Clipped planchets, broad strikes, and weakly struck areas where Lincoln's face or the wheat stalks are incomplete add to collector excitement. Another key area of interest for the 1957 D penny is luster and color. Coins maintaining original red coloration without toning or oxidation are significantly more valuable than those that have turned brown. Surface preservation, sharpness of strike, and eye appeal are critical factors determining market value in high grades. Collector interest in the 1957 D penny remains strong because it represents a mature phase of the Lincoln Wheat series, coming just 2 years before the mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. It is part of the final era of the classic wheat design, making it a necessary inclusion for advanced Lincoln cent sets. The 1957 D also offers a glimpse into mid-20th century coinage practices, production techniques, and distribution patterns. Its errors and high-grade survivors provide both a challenge and a reward for collectors dedicated to completing date and mint sets or pursuing registry-quality Lincoln cents. While circulated examples are common, the thrill for collectors lies in the hunt for flawless mint state coins and rare era varieties. This is where modern collecting meets historical appreciation, turning an ordinary penny into a sought-after numismatic treasure. Both the 1947 Philadelphia penny and the 1957 D Denver penny illustrate a key lesson in coin collecting. Rarity is relative. It is not determined solely by mintage numbers, but by survival in top condition, the presence of errors, and the demand from collectors willing to pay a premium for quality. These wheat pennies remind us that even the smallest denominations can carry historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and substantial monetary value. They are not just coins. They are pieces of American history, artifacts of production, and, in the right hands, modern treasures waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a 1947 or 1957 D Lincoln Wheat penny, don't glance and toss it aside. Examine the strike, inspect the surfaces, feel the weight, and look for anomalies. Because within these ordinary coins may lie extraordinary value, a lesson that has kept collectors searching through pockets, jars, and rolls for generations.